Guys, I'll be straight up with you. I got some lower back pain right now. I feel awful. I'm a little bit ticked off because Tottenham won 5-1 today, and I have to wait to see what Arsenal do tomorrow, and I'm very stressed about that. So I got stress. I'm ticked off. I'm, in a lot of pain. I'm tired. I'm also really hot. Like, I'm hot temperature-wise, not like good looks-wise. We all know I'm like a, 6 out of 10 on a best day, 4 out of 10 average opinion. So yeah, I said a while ago, if I was to watch a race in a pretty ticked off mood, maybe I would, my opinion would change about the race. But I don't think it did. I think, I think I, remained pretty level headed. But we got something to talk about, Richmond. Ignore that piece of hair sticking out. I'm a mess right now when it comes to hair. I haven't had a good haircut in like 2 years. I can't find a barber that understands how to cut hair right now, so it's kind of tough. I also don't have a lot of time, so I want to give a shout out to all the Patreon members for always supporting the channel. If you don't see your name here, it's just because it's the start of the new month, so you know how that works. It takes your name off the list. We all know. I don't want to get into that nonsense. But thank you all the Patreon supporters for always supporting. Don't got a lot of time because I got some things to do, specifically with a dog. And these late races do not help with my schedule. It's either Saturday night is good or Sunday at 1 o'clock. But Sunday at 3:30 all the time is really, really annoying, especially when it's Why are we starting at 3:45 on an East Coast race? Not even lying. Even 2 o'clock would work better for me, but whatever. We're just gonna have to get used to these late races, I guess. It's terrible timing for me, but it is what it is. I thought this was the weakest race of the season, but it wasn't bad, and it wasn't like I still enjoyed it. So my prediction of enjoying every race until Texas still is there, and the main reason because of strategy, the tire degradation was very high. I mean, very high. It was ridiculously high. Tire wear, tire deg, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it was pretty crazy at Richmond. It's that surface is getting older. But man, that's tire deg was just crazy. So the strategy was fun, but this is a feeling, and I think you'll see it in Gluck's poll tomorrow. I think I guessed 70% for one of the other races, and I think I was like 1% off. I think it was 71. This one might be a little below 70, or I think it'll be like maybe it could be like 75 because I think the finish was really good with Mr. Hamlin coming out of nowhere on fresh tires, and again the strategy. But there is the last like few years, maybe even longer. The Richmond is a track where if you drive it, it's a lot of fun. If you look at it from a driver's perspective, it's a lot of fun, but I don't know if I don't think it's the cars, because this is a brand new car, but maybe it's Richmond's surface is very unique. It's not like just normal asphalt. They used they used something really weird. That's why Richmond always had that black coat look. It's been almost probably 20 years, maybe longer since, they did anything to the track. So the track's pretty worn out now. And it's coming to be like what Atlanta became, where it's fun for the drivers, but entertainment-wise, like Richmond, there's two ways. There's a short track racing. You want to make it hard to pass, but you don't want it to be impossible. Martinsville does it perfectly. So at Martinsville, it's hard to pass, but it's not impossible, and you use your bumper and all this stuff, and you can make passes. And so Martinsville is probably the best short track on the calendar. But with Richmond, it's impossible to pass, but the racing is always close. But it's impossible to pass, but it's not really due to dirty air. I guess with the surface wearing out and how the cars are now, I don't think the cars are a part of it because this is a different car. It's a better car. But it's been happening for the last almost 15 years, honestly, where it just seems like the layout of the track makes it really difficult for drivers to pass when everyone's equal. So I just want to make that clear. When everyone's equal, like same tires, all that stuff. And that's where the strategy comes into play. So when you get a bunch of strategy, it really shakes everything up. And you get a lot of passes for the lead because someone's on this strategy and someone's on that strategy. But it doesn't feel like, I don't know how to explain it, but I felt like the majority of the race, whether it's visually, it's just kind of odd or something about Richmond just doesn't hit. I don't know if it ever hit, but it just doesn't, like, I haven't seen an 85 or 90% Richmond race. in a very long time. And it's so weird because I just don't know what the reasons are. And I think you guys probably feel the same. Comment down below if you do, where you don't hate Richmond, but you don't find the races to be memorable or exciting in any way. The most memorable Richmond race I remember is 2008 because of the ending, which was Kyle Busch and Dale Earnhardt Jr., with then Clint Bowyer going on to win the race. That's the most memorable Richmond race I remember. After that, it's probably because of playoff stuff. Because Richmond was the cutoff race, or it was the first race, during around there at that time. The whole Michael Waltrip Racing incident happened at Richmond. I remember there was a really cool battle, I think, in 2014 between Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Jeff Gordon, and was it Denny Hamlin? I can't remember, but that was also a really good battle there at the end of that race. But that's it. I don't remember any other Richmond races for anything memorable. And that's the point I'm trying to make here, is that Richmond feels like it's in this weird place where I think the attendance today wasn't great. And, specifically for me, I think Richmond should be a night race. It always has been. And I personally don't like the change to a day race. That's just me. I think it loses something, but I'm a big fan of night racing. I understand the ratings aren't higher, which is why the TV broadcasters don't want it, but I'm a big fan of Saturday night racing. We haven't had one this season, and I think Richmond was always a good time to do it. But, I guess Martinsville is going to be that now, so it's okay. But yeah, I want your guys' opinion, because, for me, today's race was like a 7 out of 10. It was okay. But there's been too many Richmond races like that. You need, for a racetrack, you need to have that great race. Or, you don't want to have, terrible races like Texas. So, Richmond's, right in between. I think it's right where Atlanta kind of was before Atlanta did their, reconfiguration and their repave. Where Atlanta for drivers was awesome, but then, for the fans, it just, something isn't clicking. And, that's just my opinion on it. But let's get to the race. I want to give Ryan Blaney. I saw he qualified on pole. I saw he, I missed the first 50 laps of this race, but I saw he led all the laps in stage one, and I just knew he wouldn't win. I just knew it because for some reason that team and Blaney, I don't know, his team lets him down a lot, but today they just fell off a little bit, lost the lead, never got it back. And then the whole race was just about strategy. So this is why I can't talk about the race a lot, because the main thing that I remember that was, entertaining from that race in terms of racing was Ross Chastain and Ryan Blaney going at it. Them Blaney running Chastain up the track and Chastain giving him a bump back and all that stuff. And that was good short track racing. That's really it. Everything else was strategy. You had someone who was on way fresher tires and they just fly right by. Or you have someone who's on way older tires and they just go right backwards. There was never two cars going at it. And whenever the guys were on equal tires, there was just, it's like they couldn't pass. But it's weird because I don't think it's a dirty air thing. I just think it's the way the track is. Well, how you have to roll into the corners and be off the throttle for a very long time through the center to let it roll and then pick the throttle back up. And it's very, meticulous, and you have to be very precise, and you can't really bump people. Chastain gave Blaney a bump, and it sent him all the way up towards the wall. So you don't want to just go out there and run someone over, because you are carrying a good amount of speed into these corners. And so it's just interesting. Richmond's a very odd track that it has me completely perplexed at the moment. And then the end of the race, again, was all strategy. So you have the two-stop strategy, you have the one-stop strategy, you have guys essentially just trying to be the first driver to pit because the tire deg was so stupidly high that you can gain 4 seconds on track in one lap, which is unbelievable. And normally that's a good thing. Normally tire wear and tire deg is a good thing, but like I said, with that Atlanta comparison, it's too much of it. It kind of, just makes the race very predictable. I don't know. But then again, when I say the race is predictable, Denny Hamlin came out of nowhere from literally, how far back was he? Denny Hamlin was he 18 seconds? Somewhere around there. I think when he came out of pit road, he was 18 or 20 seconds behind the leaders with 25 or 30 to go, somewhere around there. And he ran them down. Sounds crazy, right? That might not be right there. I was kind of loosely dazed for a little bit. So I don't remember, because Denny Hamlin wasn't running towards the front, so I don't remember exactly when he came down pit road or exactly what the gap was. But it was definitely over. I'm pretty sure it was over 13 seconds. It was a large number to where Hamlin had to run down William Byron and Martin Truex Jr. and guys like that, and they got it done. They got it done. Kevin Harvick was with them, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. So by the time the end of the race came, Truex was, I think, on, what was he on, 57 lap old tires, and then Byron was like on 45 or 46. And surprisingly, Truex and Byron are pretty equal. So, like, Byron had 10 lap pressure tires, but Truex, didn't give it too much. And then Denny Hamlin, here he comes. He's like, he only ran like 15 laps on his tires, and he just started charging, and he was able to just pass him. But this was my point, though. It was like, there was no battle. The race was done at that point. It's just all like a strategy game. You go on your calculator, you're like, all right, if I do this and this and this, I will get him. Boom, you get him. So, like, in short track racing, you want two guys going at it, but Richmond lately has always been like, well, you play the strategy game. It's like a road course strategy with like short track racing. It's very unique. I'm not saying I don't like it. I think it was, like I said, I think it's a solid race, but it ain't clicking. It ain't memorable. It's something about it isn't clicking. But funny enough, we were at COTA last week, and I mentioned how Denny Hamlin's crew chief was dumb, which is Chris Gabehart. And so what they were doing is they were going for points. And I was like, you are Denny Hamlin and the 11 team. Why are you going for stage points? I understand you didn't get a top 10 all season, but you don't need stage points. You will win a race, get playoff points, put your driver in the best position to win. 1 week later, Denny Hamlin wins. So I just want to say I think I was proven right in that circumstance. Like that team doesn't need to be running for stage points. And so they went for the win today. It was a great call by Chris Gabehart, and he did a great job. And Hamlin, who looked like he was struggling the majority of the race, honestly, but he got track position, and they tuned on the car a bit. The track definitely changed. You had guys who were fast at the beginning of the race who fell off a little bit. Like, Ryan Blaney didn't fall off a lot. He still finished pretty well. But Blaney fell off a bit. Chase Elliott fell off a cliff. He looked like he had a top 5 car. Looked like he could battle for the lead. That car fell off a cliff. You had guys who were running, like Alex Bowman was running towards the back, then Alex Bowman started coming towards the front. I was like, wait a minute, is he going to do this nonsense again? Is Alex Bowman really going to get in the top 10 and sneak his way into a race-winning position? So the track definitely changed. It helped Denny Hamlin, and Denny Hamlin went on to win the race. I have to cut it short, so I can't talk too much about the results, but here are the results. You can see your top 10 right there. Again, I can't break it down because I don't have enough time. And the main point of this video was just to really talk about Richmond. I want you guys to give your opinion and maybe try to help me understand it, because this has been going on for the last few years, and I just don't really understand why Richmond, which I think is an amazing track, I think it's a very unique track, and I really like it, and I like how you have to drive it, but why has it lately not been able to give us memorable, close battles, great racing? And it's more like the cars look like they're incredibly slow for some reason, and they just it just gives off this visually when you're watching it. I hear a lot of fans, like, I wasn't using Twitter a lot today, but a lot of fans are genuinely saying, like, I was really bored, I fell asleep, and I honestly could understand. It's been like that for the last few Richmond races. There was one Richmond race last year that I did fall asleep. From lap 100 to 300, I fell asleep and I woke up. And so that was the last time I fell asleep during a NASCAR race, was at Richmond. It was last season. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't really know why it's happening, and I wonder what they can do. I don't want them to do some nonsense of like tire grip machine, make the second lane or third lane OP, or I don't want any of that. How can you make that track maybe a little bit easier to pass when everyone's on equal footing? I don't know. It's very odd. Overall, I think I still enjoyed it, which makes it 7 for 7, I think. But it would probably be my weakest race of the year next to the Clash, which is actually not a good sign. The Clash isn't really a short track race, but I hope this car doesn't make short track racing worse, which I don't think it will. But we'll see at Martinsville. I'll see you guys later. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow for another video. I got to go. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already. A lot of you guys have been following me on Instagram. I don't really plug my Instagram, but I'm getting a lot of followers on Instagram, and I don't know why. I'm being completely honest. I usually just say like follow me on Twitter and Instagram, but like lately I've been getting a lot of followers, so it's kind of odd. But I'll see you guys later. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day, and peace out.